Wrestling in the Old Testament has what to do with me today? Next on That's Not My God. Hey, thanks for joining me for another That's Not My God. I'm back home in my home office, and it's good to be back. Had a great time down in Nashville, but it's also good to be back. I can't wait for you guys to watch the newest Wise Guys season, and hope that you weigh in and comment on that. You know, in any community, a church community, friendships, genres of music, be it, contemporary, metal, black metal, I'm in Wisconsin, so maybe even polka, you find people and teens that wrestle with the fact that they aren't always happy with who they are. Now, let me explain this a little bit. You grow up and you go through the teen years, through the kid years, and you're just trying to navigate life. You're trying to figure out who you are. So here's a kid that grows up one way, sees another subculture of people at high school, and he starts dressing that way, acting that way. This applies to adults as well, and young adults and old adults too. I think it's kind of natural actually for us to do these kind of things, to have a best friend and we mimic them a little bit. We may even like the clothes they wear, so we wear them. But the problem is when we start losing ourselves. You know what I mean by that? In other words, we're not true to ourselves, that we're not truly living out who God has planned you to be. There was a statement that I once heard, and it's a very simple statement, and it was brought up to me once, and it said this: who you aren't isn't interesting. Now, in Genesis chapter 32, there's an awesome passage of scripture that is grossly misused, but an awesome passage of scripture. We run into a guy named Jacob. Now, Jacob is born holding on to his brother's heel, scripture says. His brother is Esau. Now, Esau, born first, Jacob wanted to be first, even in when he was being born, holding on to his brother's ankle. Fast forward a little bit, Esau, for some reason, scripture decided to make us know that he was a very hairy man, not into manscaping or anything like that, and decided to steal his brother's blessing. This is a big deal in the Old Testament. This is a big deal for life. And his father's blind, and Jacob decides to kill an animal and wear its hide and steal his brother's blessing. His father reached out to touch him and said, "My blessing's on you, Esau," and it was Jacob. Now, this raises all kinds of questions, like, what in the world, what kind of hormone problems does this Esau have that his dad mistook him for an animal pelt? But that's neither here nor there. Fast forward a little bit. So we have Jacob holding on to his brother's ankle when he comes out. He steals his brother's blessing. Then there's this pivotal moment in scripture that I think we've all been to. And it goes like this. Jacob was one night wrestling an angel. Some would say it was God. Others would say it's something else. But that's neither here nor there. Jacob was wrestling with this angel, scripture says. And out of the blue, they've been wrestling for a long time. And out of the blue, Jacob goes, "I will not let you go until you bless me." Now, here's a scripture that's grossly misused in the prosperity preachers and in church in general, that we're going to press through, we're going to, hang on to God, we're going to beg, we're going to plead. That's not what's going on here. The angel says, "Who are you?" And this is after Jacob says, "I will not let you go until you bless me." And so the angel goes, "Who are you?" Now, he knew exactly who he was. They've been wrestling for a long time. And it was at that moment, check your scriptures, Genesis 32, Jacob goes, "I am Jacob." Oh, wow. Do you see what happened here? Jacob literally at this point, after years and maybe even decades of growing up, had this moment where the angel said, "Who are you?" Now, Jacob goes, "I am Jacob." It was at that moment Jacob was finally comfortable with who he was. Now, just like God, he goes, "Now I will call you Israel." I mean, it's a crazy story. But at the end of this thing, Jacob goes, "I am Jacob," as if to say, I am okay with who I am. I am okay with what I'm doing, and I'm okay with God's purpose in my life. We have a not enough file. We're not smart enough. We're not talented enough. We're not good looking enough. And the fact is, when we talk to people, sometimes this comes out, and it goes to a point where people are finding out who we aren't. That's not interesting. When we have conversation, when you're part of the forum at Sanctuary, when you comment on Facebook, we want to know the genuine you. What makes you tick? What haven't you done yet? Where didn't you go to school? What job didn't you get? And what did you do? Because this is the person that God created. This is the person that God has a plan for. So you're not this person, that's okay. You're this person. Hey, be comfortable in your own skin and be comfortable with the person you look at in the mirror. This is a tough lesson that Jacob had to wrestle with until he got to that point that said, I am Jacob. I am Bob. Who are you? Talk to you soon. Thanks for listening. Bye.